time. It's like 3, 2, 1, and it just sat there. I was like, oh, take your time. And then it comes on, of course. Good morning. Welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. And I'm getting to practice it, waiting on my phone to do its thing and all that sort of stuff, right? Anyway, always an opportunity to trust God. There's always an opportunity to peace out. In the midst of crazy stuff, the craziest of crazy, there's still that opportunity, and we still get to peace out. He doesn't withdraw that peace because things got too complicated, too complex, too overwhelming, too big, too bad, to fill in anything you want. There's no exclusions. God says, Jesus said, I'm leaving you my peace. What you do with it, this is my add-on, right? What you do with it is up to you, but he left his peace with us. He gave us a peace that the world can't understand, that the world doesn't have. It's kind of what we're going to talk about today. I was actually preparing for my devotions for caregiver. I'm trying to get some blogs written up because I've been a little bit behind on that. And I was studying through a pretty interesting chain of scriptures, and I ended in Nahum. Nahum's only, 3 chapters? It's literally 2 pages. It's not even quite, technically, not quite 2 pages. And it's like scathing. It's like, who's God mad at, right? So I'm reading Nahum, and at first I thought there's only one good verse in it, but there's actually a couple. And he's actually talking about Nineveh. Nahum is a prophet. He's given a prophetic vision of what God's going to do to Nineveh and the Assyrians that are in Nineveh, who have been oppressing his people. Right? And so the scripture we always pull out, there's only 2 really good verses in Nahum, and the rest is, I'm just going to wipe you out. I'm wiping your enemies out. He's talking about the enemies. Now, this was a natural thing. God's not going to wipe any people out, okay? The people aren't our enemy anyway. We know Paul said, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Our struggle is not actually with the flesh, although we may have some struggles in the flesh. Our struggles are with principalities and powers. Most of our struggles are in our minds, right? And that struggle to get to that peace God gave us, that struggle to get to understand the grace and the love and the mercies that he's given us. The struggle is sometimes in our head, will God really do it? Why don't I feel it? Why don't I see it? The struggle is against doubt. It's against fear. It's against oppression. And that's the thing. There's 2 verses in Nahum. And so that's 1 per page, basically, because Nahum's not even quite 2 pages long. The first one is this: the Lord is good. Verse 7 of chapter 1. The Lord is good when trouble comes, not if trouble comes. Remember, he's also our very present help in times of trouble. When trouble comes, God is our strong refuge. Not just a refuge, but a strong refuge. And he knows everyone who trusts in him. So he's looking at Nineveh. He's looking at the Assyrians who are oppressing his people. They're putting chains of bondage on them in so many different ways. And he's saying, look, I can see all y'all. And I know who's been naughty and who's been nice. I know those who are trusting me, God's saying. That's just a blessing. Because that means he looks at our crazy circumstances. He looks at our struggles with doubt, with fear, with fill in the blank with whatever your top 2 or 3 things are, right? He sees those struggles, but he sees past that. He sees when we trust him. He knows everyone who trusts in him. Now he goes on down. He's like, I've punished my people because as a father, he disciplines us, right? He goes, I'm not going to do it again. He says, all of the Assyrians they're going to be destroyed and they're going to disappear. And then he says this in verse 13, and this is the other really good verse, right? that we can grab hold of. Now I will break your chains and release you from Assyrian oppression. I love that because that means that he sees who is trusting him, and he's coming in, basically riding in to rescue them from the oppression. And then he goes on to saying, I'm going to wipe them out. And he says some crazy things in these 3 chapters. I mean, he even tells the Assyrians, he says, get ready for the attack. Get ready, store up water, strengthen your defenses, make bricks to repair the walls, go into the pits to trample the clay, pack it into molds. But guess what? In the middle of your preparations, the fire will destroy you. The sword will cut you down. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not on that side, right? He's going, go ahead, do all the preparations you want. But in the end, you're done. Because I know those who trust in me. I am going to release them from this oppression. And, this was kind of the same attitude behind going to get the children of Israel out of Egypt, right? He said, they've been oppressed too long. I've heard their cry. And there's a scripture in Deuteronomy that says, it tells how many, literally to the day he brought them out. It was exactly like 430 years or something like that. It says to the day. And I'm like, God knew the day they became captive. God knew the day they gave in to that oppression. And he didn't say, just right there, then dummy. He didn't say that. He said, no, go get my people out of that. And it's the same thing he's telling them here in Nahum. He's saying, I know you're trusting me, even though you're feeling the oppression, even though you're feeling that fight between faith and fear, even though you're having that fight between fear and doubt, between fear and what you see, between faith and what you see. And he says, I get it, but I still know you trust me. So, and he said that about the children of Israel. He said, I hear their cries. I hear their moans. I hear them wanting to be free, and I'm going to go get them. He says the same thing to us now. He sees when we are oppressed. He sees when we're in difficult circumstances. And he doesn't abandon us still. He's never abandoned anybody yet. He didn't leave Joseph sitting in that cell. He went and got Joseph. He had a plan for Joseph. He had to get Joseph's character so that it could sustain the call that he had later to be the second in command. And knowing the brothers were going to come back and the children and all the whole family is going to be moving down there. Joseph had some character issues. God used those years to work out. And sometimes God doesn't waste anything. He will use our circumstances. He doesn't necessarily cause them. Our decisions cause our circumstances. But he doesn't say, well, you made a dumb choice, so, okay, what are you asking me for? You don't find that anywhere here. He's like, I'll come. I hear you. I know when you're oppressed. I know why you made those dumb decisions. I know the struggle you have. He knows the struggles we have between believing what this word says and what we're feeling and what we're seeing, because sometimes they don't quite match up. And he goes, I get it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm still coming to release you from oppression, and I'm going to break your chains because I know when your heart is trusting me, is what he's saying this whole thing. So he's talking, most of these 3 chapters are to the enemy and what God's going to do, right? Do whatever you want, get prepared, but you ain't going to win, right? And I hope he's saying the same things to my fear. Go ahead, be afraid. It's not going to win. You can't, fear can't control you. Fear can't defeat you. He's like, I'm coming for you. I know you're trying your best to trust me in adverse circumstances. And he knows that. He knows when we have terrible circumstances, even sometimes, even those ones that we cause ourselves. He knows when something wasn't caused ourselves, when we're maybe the victim of something that happened to us. He gets all of that. And his answer is, I know beyond the circumstances, beyond what things look like, beyond what things feel like, he knows that we are still trusting him. He hears that faintest cry. I've always said he hears all of the emotions behind every tear that leaks out of our eyes. He gets all those words we can't say. He gets where we are, no matter how we got there. And he says, I know he knows when we trust him. And he will release us from the oppression that comes with fear, that comes with doubt, that comes with, he knows we're trying to make it, right? Sometimes it's a struggle to make it. Sometimes it's a struggle with faith. We know what Scripture says. We also know what we feel, and we get caught in there. And you know what? He doesn't say, well, when you figure it out, I'll come help you. He's like, no, I'm coming for you. He's coming for us no matter what. He doesn't disqualify us because we don't get it yet. He doesn't, if he was patient with the children of Israel all the way across the wilderness, right? He's going to walk through our wilderness too. He didn't leave them. He didn't say, this is going to be such a journey. This is going to be so hard. He prepared the way. They didn't get it. They complained. They didn't understand. They were in doubt. They built a golden calf as soon as Moses was out of sight. Aaron even helped them, right? They complained because there wasn't water. God gave them water. They complained because there wasn't food. God gave them food. They complained, and yet their shoes never wore out across the wilderness. Their clothes didn't wear out. God had planned all these miracles. And even in the middle of all the miracles, they didn't quite get it. I pray we start getting it today. I pray we start seeing how connected he really is with us and our circumstances. He's not just sitting up there seeing how this plays out. He's going, come on, I'll give you manna, something you can't even explain, something you ain't even got a name for. All right. He's saying that he's going to take care of us, that he gets us and he's got us. And that's what he's saying right here in the middle of Nahum. He's like, this is some really crazy stuff that's fixing to go down, but he knows who's trusting in him. And he's like, I'm taking away the oppression. I'm taking away the chains. I'm releasing you from this. Now, we still got to trust him in that release. Sometimes we got to trust him more because all of a sudden we're free, and that's a weird feeling. We'd have never experienced it before. It just goes back to trusting him every single day with every part of that day, and every question we have, every doubt we have, every fear we have, every faith we have, all of these, trust him with it all, opening up our heart and just going, I just want to trust you. No matter what things look like, what they feel like, what I'm going through, what I'm not going through, what I wish I was going through, what I wish I had, wish I didn't have, through everything, I just want to trust you. And he's like, I get that, because he gets us and he's in it with us. And that's why we can trust him. That's why we can peace out. Peace out. I hope I said something that made sense. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.